Hello and welcome to Cricbuzz Live. Harsha Bhogle and I am here early because it's raining and rain has halted play. Australia are 109 for 1 after 12.5 overs. Head has reached 59 after being dropped on 6. And of course, Steve Smith is there on 19. Harsha, it's just so sad when you see such simple catches going down in such a important knockout game.
You're not hiding your loyalties at all, are you? She wants Afghanistan to win desperately. I don't know if there's something else riding on it, but those two catches, they were sitters. You can understand if there's a tough catch, you stick your hand out, it doesn't stick. And Rashid Khan's a good fielder.
Yes.
So Rashid Khan dropping a catch was unlike. I mean, how often does Travis Head get a chance early on and then go and produce a match-changing innings? Then the one that Sadiqullah, I think it was, who dropped it
yes.
in the deeper shot. That wasn't expensive, but I think it told you something. If you want to beat Australia, you have to be top of your game. Top of your game means getting wickets. Remember, we talked in the pre-show. We said if they can be 40 for 2, then Afghanistan have a chance. And they had a chance of making it 40 for 2. So that's going to prove very, very costly because they're so far ahead on net run rate. Now, I mean, what if you get just a 20-22 over game? They're too far ahead, Australia.
Too far ahead. And if in case it is a washout, which we really don't want because we know Afghanistan fight back. But if it is a washout, then of course Australia is through and Afghanistan gets knocked out.
Well, technically they don't till the South Africa-England game gets over, but it would require a ridiculous result for that to happen. And the reason I say that is, look, Afghanistan will go up to 3 if there's a washout. Australia will qualify straight away with 4. Then South Africa versus England. England have to beat South Africa by a large enough margin to get that plus 2.14 to drop below minus 0.99. Because if it's a washout, then you're not looking at net run rates more. I think that's still the rule. So.
Just a lot of mathematical calculations.
No, it's almost impossible. Yeah,
impossible calculations. But we'll have.
But just on that, before we finish, we are now talking. It's 1941. Game ends at 10 o'clock India time. You can take it up to 11 o'clock with the hour that you make up. You only need 7 overs, 7 overs and a bit. So you're looking at about half an hour. So you've got up to 10:30 India time to start play, which means if you start to take the covers off in another 2 hours and 20 minutes, by 10 o'clock, it's still fine. So I don't think we need to worry about that possibility just yet.
And it didn't look like it was raining as badly as it did in the.
I was just looking on the Cricbuzz app. It says, as I type, the rain has picked up pace. But that's 2.5 hours. We don't need to worry yet.
We'll get back to Australia's batting because Head is always a headache when he gets going for his opponents. And Steve Smith coming and doing Steve Smith things. He takes it slowly and then he knows how to accelerate when it's needed.
Yeah, just a quick correction. I think shot was dropped by Karoti rather than by Sadiqullah. But he got them off to the start. But the way Head plays, when he gets in, it's almost like you're in a ring with a boxer. You probably know that better than I do. But he's probably the ring of the boxer and he takes you away. I thought Smith started off well too. And if you're scoring at 8.5 and over, your required rate is 4.5, you've already dragged the game your way. Now it's up to Afghanistan to pull it back. But I mean, spin has started well, but they've gone too far ahead. And Head is just playing typical head shots or audacious shots. You give him a little bit of width and you're asking for trouble.
But Farooqi and Omarzai's have been very expensive, but they were getting that ball to swing initially, like a lot of swing that we could see.
And they bowled some decent balls. Now, how are you to look at those figures and say, what if the catches were taken? What are those misfeelings? I mean, that 1 over from Farooqi, there was a catch put down, then Head hits him for 6, then there's a misfield on the boundary. I mean, he's probably tearing his hair out in frustration. So you need to look at what those numbers might have been if the catches were taken.
And of course, no Rashid in yet.
Which is a bit of a surprise, no?
Yes.
I thought he might come in, but they probably thought that with the left-hander in, they might use Nabi and Noor to spin the ball away. But yeah, he'll come on very soon. There's no doubt at all.
But with the rain, the outfield, I don't know how the outfield's going to dry up very soon, but that's not really going to help Afghanistan's cause with the spin.
You'd imagine it'll dry quickly if it's a major venue like Lahore. My gut feel is they called off the game very early in Rawalpindi because they were not certain of how much it would rain. But you'd hope it would go quickly. But do remember that it's taken a lot of rain. It rained all of yesterday. So it would make the outfield a little heavy. There's no doubt at all. It might help Afghanistan in that ball may not travel much, but then if the ball gets wet, it's a counter problem.
Well, you know, I didn't want to touch upon this about head being a headache.
But you're going to do it anyway,
but I
right?
have to do it. Is that he's not only been a headache for
It's been
Afghanistan.
a migraine. It's been a proper migraine.
But what about our prediction scores and how off they've been?
Because they didn't hold their catches.
Yeah.
Let's get that in.
That's what it was. You have to hold on to those catches. Afghanistan will be happy with this break, you think? Just go in, regroup and just kind of see what they want to do when they come back out?
The game was running away from them at top speed. So they'll be very happy for this break. They'll only hope that the ball doesn't get wet when they come back. But it's just given them some time to just pause and say, okay, where's this game going? What are we looking at now? We're looking at 165 runs. We're looking at taking wickets. So maybe they'll get a little more attacking. Maybe they'll say, okay, let's get an extra fielder in and let's see what happens. But yeah, definitely helped Afghanistan this break.
Well, we also know how deep Australia bats, so they will go in, and I'm sure Steve Smith and Head will put their feet up and be very relaxed because of the batting that Australia comes up with.
Also, they've got to a stage where Smith and Labuschagne can bat the way they want to bat, because it's no longer, the asking rate's no longer a question. It's just a question of getting the 160 runs, so they're very well placed.
Well, they need 165 runs in 37 overs. So clearly, Harsha, we know who has got that advantage, 37.1 overs to go. It's clearly advantage Australia unless Afghanistan come out and produce some magic.
It's looking like Australia's game at the moment, but on that on the points tally, you'd see if they win today, then Australia get to 5 points. At the moment, the net run rate is still vastly different between South Africa and Australia. But if they get in very quickly, then they might just put a little bit of pressure on... actually, they won't.
Because South Africa plays England.
Yeah, because South Africa beat England, their net run rate will be good. So they've got to exceed that net run rate, which is looking very unlikely.
Well, the news from the centre is that it's still raining, but we will be back hoping that the game carries on very quickly, and we'll be back at the 35th over point with all the updates. Thank you so much for watching Cricbuzz Comm Box.